Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. The year is 87039, new nonlinear time. It's been 50,000 years since Steven Zapata's final art stream, but we still live in a golden age defined by the gifts his stream bestowed upon mankind. Faster than light travel, eternal life, Steven cloning, and the keys to a truly galactic human civilization. My name is Stave Satapaz, a reminder clone of Steven Zapata, an exact reproduction of his personality as constructed by an AI compiling millions of hours of his original art streams. By all accounts, I'm exactly like the original Steven's public persona, just more muscular, exactly as he would have wanted. I travel the stars on my light tracer, a dream of Steven. My crew is, of course, all clones of Steven. Some of my officers are reminders like me, but not all. Some are bioclones, and yet others are aspectoids, clones who, instead of trying to capture his full essence, amplify a particular portion of the original Steven's personality. We've spent hundreds of years drawing, exploring, and philosophizing while snaking our way through the stars, spreading the good word of design. But we've had another, secret mission as we've cruised the cosmos. I seek information on the legendary originals, Steven Zapata's true drawings that he flung wide across the stars at the end of his life on Earth, never to be seen again. My crew thinks I'm looking for them for the same reason all the other madmen do, because they would be valuable beyond all reason. But they don't know what I know, that a critical mass of originals in the hands of a trained reminder can provide a psychic link to the original Steven mind. Once I collect enough, I'll be able to fulfill my destiny and achieve psychological continuity with the original Steven. And through me, he will live again to usher in golden ages of art forever. Drawing Ascendant, the eternal chronicles of Steven Zapata. Lasting Legacy 1, Epic 1. Who's that, Steven? It's Gamghoul Steven! How you holding up out there, Stave? I'd say considering I'm fighting a Steven who doesn't draw, I'm doing alright, really. Ha! Just try to keep everyone entertained while you try to keep your head. I need more time in Cathar Steven's palace. I know the god Graphite is here. Somewhere in here. If I only knew where. Hey, no rush, man. I got this guy on the ropes. Trust me.
Yeah! Nusenya Thanda, Duneja Madito, Dunya, Nanyata Da Giata.
What? It's Incanthia, great sword of the Black Fountain. He really does have it.
Yeah, Nitroya. Nitsuyo Tufu, Gimya Tanta, Ata.
This is a dream of Steven. Stave, are you there?
Steven, you got to the ship. How did you get past the blockades?
Nothing the dream couldn't handle. But they're on me, and we're coming in hot. I'm gonna get you out of there. Do I have clearance to murder some citizen Stevens as I strafe the arena?
Soon, but not yet. Sturvin needs more time in the palace to find the god Graphite. If you attack now, all the guards watching my execution will rush back to the palace to secure Cathar Steven. So give him the runaround until I get word from Sturvin. The god Graphite. Finally. Oh, it's beautiful. Well, yes. Come to Sturvin. Hold on. No need to rush there, little Steven. You and I both know Stave wouldn't want you to get sloppy and spill any of that, would he? We're at it bright and early today. At it bright and early? Bright and early? Rise and shine, early whirly. Yeah, we're at it whirly girly, bright and burly, baby. I gotta take a minute here because I gotta finish my breakfast. Need a little food fuel to fuel the indignant anger as well as the joy. Feeling good today, I'll tell you what, people. Drawing, what a pleasure. Who would have thought? So excuse me while I make some munchy sounds on this stream. Hello to, wait a minute, got a little too loud there. Just adjusting my gain, my audio. That should be fine, right? Hello to Eakin Dennis. Hello, Rocket Man Hunter 101, Alfie Marshall, Mikolan. Hello, big fan. Mikolan, hello. Big fan. Aerosol Doll, Rip Pup, Woofu, Sabina Hannes, Olga, Goryayanova. Goryayanova. Kill Ra, this soldier, Ruma Inc., AY, Dino Blaster, Yuri G, Donation, Kenor Max, Kerschel, Zane Artist, Felix, Sembach, Luckful 7, Rip Pup again. Happy October, everybody. We did not, last stream was on Friday, so it's not October yet. Happy October. If you're doing Inktober, good luck in Inktober. I've done a couple Inktobers myself. I did one complete Inktober where I was pretty crazy. I did like a pretty involved ink drawing every single day and I pulled it off. I've done a couple like half ones and things like that, but those days are long behind me. That's a young man's game. If you're doing Inktober this year, I wish you great luck and much flowing ink. Let the ink flow for Inktober. Cilio says, first time Magic catch a stream from the beginning. Bad, dana, ba bum, bump, beat, ba, do, boo, doo, boo, boo, ba, da, be, na, no. That's the official theme song for catching a stream from the beginning for the first time. And that song is exactly the same every single time. I always perform exactly the same. Same notes, same timing, everything. It's always exactly the same. All right, everybody. Well, look, it's Monday. It's early, you know. The thing with drawing is that you can do it anytime. And one of the best times to do it is first thing in the morning with a big cup of coffee. Some oatmeal to start the day, you bet. That's what's on the menu today. Let me put this away. I was getting going early. You know, I ran out the door, walked the dog before it started raining. Prepped everything, running left, running right. Laid out my precious little drawing. So yummy. So yummy. And now we can draw. Drawing like this, nothing to it. You just got to put in the hours. At a certain point, you just got to say, all right, that's it. And now it's time to stop stressing about it and just insert the necessary number of hours to finish it. That's what we're doing. I think it might be too hot for this hat. Hey Steven, thanks to you and Ahmed, I got to appreciate Sargent's figure drawing. Any plans for more art analysis like those? It's always been of interest, you know, it's just I haven't quite got around to it. You know, I don't want to become like an art analysis channel or anything like that. I want to make art. So every time I think it's maybe a good idea to just create a bunch of content analyzing art, I'm like, I should maybe also make art, because when we eventually get to the analysis, the depth of your analysis, the quality of your ability to analyze other people's art is usually very much linked to what you can do in your own art, You can speak to greater depths of information about something like figure drawing if you've done a ton of figure drawing. And you can appreciate another person's figure drawings more if you've engaged in figure drawing in all sorts of ways: fast, slow, detailed, stylized. So I may not be doing a lot of analysis of other artists' work these days, but if it ever comes down the pipe, it will only be all the better because I have gone as far down the road as I can myself. Room Inc. says, "Hey Steven, in a previous stream you said something about grace in Claire Wendling's work, which you lack. Could you please elaborate more about what you mean by grace?" I think it might be like a I know it when I see it kind of a thing. It's a difficult thing to put into words. But I think what I said there is that my drawings have a sort of brute force quality that tends to be what they depend on. That may be too aggressive. It's coming from me. I'm the one making the art, and usually our analyses of our own art are off or a little too colored by our criticality and things like that. But for me, my drawings really, and I like it. I'm not saying it as a totally negative thing. I chose to work this way. I like it. My drawings really depend on a sort of brute force quality. Like they kind of overwhelm you with strength and detail and modeling and things like that. Whereas someone like Claire, her drawings are much simpler, right? In heavy air quotes, a lot she can render, but a lot of them have less rendering. There's less detail. There's more open space to breathe and things like that. And she will overwhelm you with that on the other side. The amount of power and communication and emotion that she can achieve with relatively little, at least compared with me, because compared to a lot of other artists, Claire's style is absolutely baroque, because there is a lot going on in it. It's just compared to someone as overwrought as myself, I would say she's much more elegant and graceful. But again, that's me trying to put into words something that's actually quite ephemeral, I think. So I would be I know that my analysis of that is probably not necessarily what you want to go for. I think it's a know it when you see it kind of a thing. Would elegance be a better word for it? I mean, I think to most people, grace, elegance, things like that probably mean the same-ish thing, Hey, Steven, thank you for missing us, Kisses Bro. Hey, my pleasure. I love to miss people. I love to express fondness. Thank you, Narjus. How often do you meditate? I try to do it daily. I tend to get on these kicks where it's like I'm pulling it off daily very often, and then I'll sort of fall off the wagon for a little bit. But we're talking about like pointed sitting meditation. I try to do something meditative every day, like drawing, for example. The way that I experience drawing and the way that I do it and the way that I talk about it on this channel is very meditative, and it does put me into a meditative state. And if we include that, which I personally do, into how often do you meditate, it's every day. I mean, it's basically without fail. We gotta darken down all this stuff in the bottom right in general. Hey Steven, where can I watch your art analysis on Sargent's figure drawings? That would be over on Ahmed's channel. I don't know where. You'd have to go dig it up, or someone would need to link you. It'd be pretty far back on Ahmed Al-Duri's art channel. Michelangelo says, hey Steven, I'm going to Lightbox and I hope to talk to the pros there and show my project to them. Do you have any tips when talking to people there? Just be very, whoops, didn't have my timer running. I suck. Just be very forthright. Try to be clear about what you're looking for. Like I would, one of the most difficult things when you've been doing teaching for a long time and reviewing portfolios for a long time is when people have no idea what they want. Like, again, this is not going to be everyone you encounter, but for me personally, when someone puts a sketchbook or a portfolio in front of me or sends it to me and they don't have any idea what they want, like where they want to work, how much money they want to make, what they want their lifestyle to be, anything like that, it really just feels like they're putting it in front of me so that I'll tell them they're good at drawing. And that makes me really disengage with people immediately. It's like, if that's the read I get off of a student, my inclination is just to be like, yeah, you draw fine. I mean, you have no goals. Why would it matter how well you draw? We're good here, right? And it's like, let's go. Onward. So I would just try to be as clear with your goals as you can be. I think if you actually have that packaged, like clear in your head, you won't have a single bad interaction. I think that you'll have many wonderful interactions at Lightbox. It's going to be great for you. And note that none of those things that I mentioned there were like skill-based things. Like, I'm not talking about walking up to someone and being like, I want to get better at color. It's like anyone in that in-person environment will tell you like, okay, you expect me to teach you color right now? You know, in this quick talk, it's like they're big things, meta things, you know? And again, that's just me. Everyone you encounter is not going to be me. And in general, just be personable, you know? Everybody there wants to have a good time and wants to have interesting conversations, and everyone there wants to meet characters. So just be yourself. I know that that's very like banal advice at this point, but it's a trope for a reason. MV says, I've developed fears around art, which I'm slowly trying to daily face with limitations, sensations of right now I'm actually hitting one of those anxious sensations by watching an art stream. Hey, nothing to be anxious about here. What are we doing? We're just sitting in a chair, piece of paper in front of us. We're just drawing. What is drawing? We're just arranging dust on a surface, casting a little magic spell. Nothing to be anxious about in the act. If you have anxieties about putting a portfolio together, getting a job, anything like that, those anxieties exist as thoughts of the future. And these thoughts of the future are actually just thoughts in the present. They're only occurring here, now. That situation, that thing that you're worried about, is not actually assailing you right now. It is out there in a place that is impossible for you to interact with it. And if I'm giving you any anxiety, I'm just some guy. I'm just some guy on the internet right now. Like, you don't got to worry about me or anything that I'm saying or anything like that. Like, nothing to be anxious about. Nothing to be anxious about. But I understand. I mean, the anxieties around making art are very, very, very common. So common that I made a whole YouTube channel about them. Hi, Steven. How you doing? I'm good. I'm great. Man, I'm chilling. Wow. Wow. Doing my best to enjoy my life moment to moment and enjoy drawing, which I truly do love and is my oldest friend and takes care of me. I've got my Rage Against the Machine at a low seethe. Just enjoying my life. Shogunate says, hi, Steven. I was wondering if there's a bit of symbolic comparison between the way AI art is sucking the artist's work and the Lovecraftian squid, a smalt something about the guys in your drawing. Yeah, there might be a little symbolic, there might be some connection there. I mean, I try not to talk about the meaning behind my drawings, generally, but I will say that this drawing, I started it because I needed a drawing to illustrate my manifesto against the AIs, so... MV says, it's a good thing I feel because I'm starting to teach myself that simple stuff like certain materials are safe no matter what my brain says / I feel. They are safe. It's just pencil. Nothing threatening about a pencil. Nothing threatening about a piece of paper either. There's nothing threatening about making a mistake on a piece of paper either. Nobody cares. And nobody's gonna knock down your doors checking in on how good your art is. Emmanuel Godson says, hey fellas, hello. Hello, Dank Engine. How you doing? Felix says, I feel sometimes it's hard for me to develop goals, especially the way the industry is developing right now. I totally feel you, Felix. It is hard. Might I recommend my past video, Forget Your Goals, They Were What Brought You Here. In that video, I try to basically cast doubt on the necessity for really small goals in art as a need in and of themselves. And then I also try to reframe what we typically think of as goals as just day-to-day aspirations as pertain to the creative work that we really want to do. It might help you. I have the same pencil. It's my favorite. It's a great pencil. It's a classic. Simple, cheap, ancient. Hey, Steven, I just wanted to say I threw a few bucks to the Concept Art Association via Ko-Fi after watching your last stream. Oh, that's awesome, Seth. I didn't know they had a coffee. I'll throw them a few bucks. I got to find that later. I have got to find that. We got to put up a good fight. Don't give up. We got to fight the good fight against the machines. Ali says, got a question. I've seen a lot of artists flip their canvas while drawing digitally. So is it a trick or something? Can you help? It's not a trick. It just makes it so that you can see your drawing a little bit different, a little bit new and fresh. It makes it easier to see mistakes, shows asymmetries and things like that. You can also do it with a mirror, with a regular drawing. You can even do it with your cell phone. Whoops. If you keep your cell phone dark, wait, I wonder if it'll. If you keep your cell phone dark, you don't turn it on, you put it against your nose like this and look into the glass, and it becomes a dark, it works like a dark mirror, and you can see the world flipped, values slightly grouped. You could sort of point it at your drawing and see everything reversed. If you do that, you've always got a little pocket mirror in your hand to do that with a traditional drawing. It kind of groups the values a little bit too, and it lets you see if you could maybe get a better value arrangement going on. Do you have any specific videos of yours in mind I could watch once I'm feeling particularly brave? Videos about what? I got all sorts of stuff. I think most of my pre-recorded videos on the YouTube, you don't need to be particularly brave. I think they're actually there to help you when you're not feeling brave. They're there to talk about feelings of failure, jealousy, confusion, isolation from being an artist, things like that. So I think they're quite useful when you're not feeling brave. Steven, do you enjoy being outside, marveling at all the little things nature provides? It might be the thing I enjoy the most. I think in some sense, I think basically everybody, or the vast majority of artists, if you're into art, it's because to some extent you have that love in you. You know, something about the nature of visual perception and just, I mean, to put it bluntly, the way things look has really captivated you to the point that you just can't contain it, and you need to sort of put out there some reaction to it. So I think all artists have that a little bit, at least, except for the darkest, most clouded and cynical minds. I think besides them, we've all got it. Cloudy day here in New York, gonna rain all day. Not too humid right now. We've got a high pressure system moving in from the west. That's gonna cause some scattered showers in the afternoon, and expect the weather to clear up and to chill up a little bit into the evening. High today is 69 degrees, the low is 52. Two questions. Do you think finding one's own style is a naturally occurring thing? I personally think yes. Any more any more truff on dealing with the duality of wanting a certain result and having fun. I don't know what truff means, but when it comes to the paradoxical pursuit of wanting to have fun and wanting a certain result, I always put my money on the fun, because you don't get to control the result. I mean, artists, to brand themselves and to, you know, market and sell themselves, they need to pretend they can perfectly control the result, but nobody can, right? Not in actuality. I think if it's all about the result, you're going to get slapped in the face over and over and over again. So for me, it's about the fun, and you should put your money in the fun. But there's plenty of artists who aren't like me, and they put all their money in the result, and they really kind of hate making art. Which I personally don't understand. Art is so hard and complicated and tied up with the soul that I really just don't understand why someone would do it if they hate making art. It doesn't add up for me. And Boar says, I'm going to trigger Steven. Just AI. No, I mean, I think we're all probably appropriately infuriated, right? I don't think there's any reason to trigger me. I'm pretty sure to a person, everybody in this stream right now realizes how abjectly absurd AI art is, and they're all on the right side of the war, and they're going to do their best to take these people to task and to let other artists know the truth about these systems and what's going on with them, and to cast the rightful doubt and perhaps, hopefully, hellfire upon these systems. No need to trigger me. I think we're all, to what end? We're all on the same page. We all understand, right? 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 But really, I mean, seriously, I'm still, I'm working on the focused YouTube video about it. I'm still writing my little manifesto. So if anybody has any questions or any particular things, maybe I can't answer them right now because they really are the kind of thing that needs to be gone into more depth with. But my camera's off here. I keep clipping into the mask. But if you have any interesting points or anything like that, I will surely add them to the document as one of the questions that I need to answer in my huge diatribe. Snowman 8 with the TRY 100. I don't know what TRY is. Anybody know what currency that is? Steven, I've got a god job. Steven, I've got a god job. Sorry, I just needed to riff. I'm not making fun of your typo. I've got a god job in medical technology, but my dream is to paint book covers. Have you seen artists study on the side and still make it? Or do I need to quit and study full time? No, people study and make it on the side and make it all the time. Absolutely. You just need to work smarter, not harder. Yeah, people do it all the time. I would say it's probably less than half of the people who make it in art are people who only did art. You know, it's one way to do it. It's one way to achieve it, because you just throw yourself in and there's nothing to fall back on. But I wouldn't say it's everybody by any stretch. You can absolutely practice on the side. Arturo Garcia says, I should be focused on my boring office work right now, but here I am. Man, your boring office work just can't. It's not up to snuff, baby. It just can't compete with the power of a Steven Zapata art stream. All right? Good morning, Travis. Good morning, Earth. Today I'm angry because I thought AI won't be able to replicate my anime waifu art. It draws the best anime boobs. I tried to warn you. I mean, you know, it's there's just going to be a huge amount of artists out there who are not going to believe, they're not going to care, because artists are real ostriches who like to put their head in the sand and just like, I just want to be alone in my studio and not talk to anybody. That's how artists are, and there's just going to be a huge amount of them who are never going to pay attention to this problem, never going to believe the arguments coming from people like me until it comes for their particular little baby. And then as soon as it comes for their little baby, then they'll suddenly be like, we can't allow this. How did we let this get so bad? And it's like, ugh. You know, I'm trying to fight that. I work on paper. I'm known for traditional work. And I'm not in the industries anymore. I teach art, person-to-person, humanistic transmission, and like, I'm the last person who should be worried about this stuff. And I'm amazed that even though I'm the person least under threat, I'm the guy who has to raise the temperature on these things. Like, really? It's me? The people who are actually under threat can't even bring themselves to be bothered, or they have this sort of sanguine detachment about it? My most depressed and upset. Lol. Fight, you dogs. Try as the Turkish lira. Thank you so much for the 100 Turkish lira, Snowman. We appreciate it around here. Snowman with the Turkish lira. Oh, hitting me up with 100 Turkish lira. Thank you, Snowman. Don't melt in the heat, the blinding heat of Turkey. Stay cool, Turkish Snowman. Hey Steven, do you know how to draw better legs on a gesture level? Because at the moment my legs look stiff in my works. It's all about that S curve, baby. Where's my, yeah, it's an S curve. I don't have my little notepad here, but in the front view, it's a very subtle S curve. And then in the side view, it has a more pronounced S curve. You flow that gesture both on the inside and outside contours of the leg. You'll get some flow in there. And it's present even when the leg bends and when it goes into crazy positions and things like that. Everything is a conspiracy theory until it hits them personally. So what to do about it, about the AI? Man, you gotta talk to your friends. You know, put it out there. Resist. I mean, this battle is going to need to be fought on many fronts. So there's going to need to be legal things, but there's also going to need to be cultural, and I don't know how to describe it, but like just a discussion amongst us as artists. You know, we need to have our own internal discussion. So in those discussions, just do your best to not be afraid. Just be honest about how you really feel about this thing and whether you think it's a good idea, and point out the problems, man, because my God, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems. Let me just to bring up one, you know, already with this. Let me just point out to you, just because I think this one is big, is concrete, and I want you guys to have it and to think about it. I'm just going to read to you something that I wrote to my friends and to my Discord. So this one is horrible. Even Stability, right? Stability AI, who makes stable diffusion, even they are being inconsistent in such a way that they are advertising to you that they are specifically screwing you in particular, artists. So let me just read this. That's about, so here I'm talking about the current AI models, right? Here I'm quoting myself. I wrote this over the weekend. The dataset should have been all public domain or Creative Commons imagery. It should have opt-in and opt-out options, and they should compensate artists who are okay with their work being in the dataset, since these are for-profit models. It's especially sad to see that they're treating everyone else better than us. Here's the new info. The music models they're releasing are rightly afraid of these sectors that are better at standing up for themselves than artists and are made with copyright-free stock music. All right, now here's the part that should really boil your blood. Stability themselves, by stability I mean Stability AI, the company that makes Stable Diffusion. Stability themselves is being inconsistent. They are releasing a copyright-free music tool called Harmon AI. I don't know how to pronounce it. Harmoni, I guess. They are releasing a copyright-free music tool called Harmon AI while allowing the image side to run roughshod over visuals. And this is from the Harmon AI release info. So this is to quote how they discuss it themselves. The particular Harmon AI, their first product they're putting out is called Dance Diffusion. Dance Diffusion is also built on datasets composed entirely of copyright-free and voluntarily provided music and audio samples. Because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. You think? In honoring the intellectual property of artists while also complying to the best of their ability with the often strict copyright standards of the music industry, keeping any kind of copyrighted material out of the training data was a must. I want you to just imagine in your head if they had had the human soul to everything that I just said. Why can't you swap the word music with art? Why can't you swap the word music with art? I want to remind you, this is the same company. So it should infuriate you because this insane double standard within Stability AI's own product suite is openly advertising that they think we, visual artists, in particular, will silently suffer being fucked over, and they are happy to do that to you. They're not afraid of us. They think these are the bitches who will take whatever we cough up, and they won't resist. In fact, they will help us. They will help us ruin the art industry, and artists don't do a goddamn thing. And then they looked at music and they were like, they're a little, they have balls, they have teeth. We have to be more careful with them. Just go look up the double standard within their own goddamn company and tell me that you think these people care about you. In fact, try to prove to me that they don't openly hate you. They hate you. They want to replace you. They want you gone. They want you dead. They don't even register you as a being worth noticing. So this double standard to me is just, they're making fun of you. They are blatantly and flagrantly attacking you. So I beg you, please don't roll over like a dog. All right? Please have some goddamn teeth and tell them that they suck. And tell the people who use these things that the deceptive and unethical system around them is unacceptable and that it is going to fuck everybody. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. UFO says, what? Then how come they did the art AI like this? Exactly. Exactly. You know why they did it? Because they knew they could. Because they knew that people who would say up front that this is a problem and that it's bullshit and that it shouldn't be done, they know people like me are the rarity, not the norm in the art community. Why did they do it? Because they knew they could. Because the response that is the current general response in the art world, they knew that was going to be the response. They knew that all of you would be like, oh, I hadn't even really thought about it. Oh, I don't know. I didn't think AI would really steal my job. Oh, I don't know. I'm just so tired and I want to be in my studio alone. So I don't know. I'm not really thinking about AI. They knew that the reaction you're all having was the reaction that you'd have and that you wouldn't resist. You wouldn't fight. There'd be no problem There'd be no, you wouldn't defend yourselves, and that they would stand to gain everything from that. Can I just reread the part? They admit in their own language that overfitting and memorization is what the AIs do, and that is copyright infringement. Let me read it again. Because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. Skipping a couple sentences, keeping any kind of copyrighted material out of the training data was a must. Subtext was a must when we deal with a community we actually think can stand up for themselves or has two brain cells to rub together. When it comes to artists, fuck them. Let them eat each other. Let's instigate a war of artistic cannibalism where they will make our side win with no effort from us. We'll just let the artists eat each other. So grow up, guys. Like, come on, man. Wish you could have this conversation with Evan Amundsen. Would be an interesting one. Why is he talking about the AIs? Are you in Evan's streams or something like that? I don't know if I could get through, you know, people like Evan have some, you know, I know because I'm way less big than Evan, and I have less, I can barely register my emails and messages as they come in. But if you have some connection to Evan, tell him I'm pissed, and if he wants to talk about it, he could come on. I'd be happy to talk with him. Actually, I think maybe James can get a hold of him. Maybe we can get a hold of him too. But anyone who's pissed. Omar says, yo, Steve, do the funny thing. I'm not feeling very funny, Omar. The art world's falling apart. I'm not doing anything funny. I'm pissed. Geez, Steve, you're heated about this. Why would you? I really wish we could get over this. We're messing up by having the normative reaction to all of this be, oh, Steven's so angry about it. You should be angry. It shouldn't be interesting that I'm pissed about this. It's absurd that I would voice these opinions and that everyone's reaction to that would be like, wow, how novel that Steven's angry about this. Are you fucking kidding me? It should be everybody's reaction. They're stealing from you, and they're gonna break art. They're gonna ruin art by flooding the market with mediocre slop, and they're going to ruin the optics around being an artist because all normal people are going to think, rightly, that, oh, you just type it into a computer, it gives you whatever you want. And that there's literally websites that they're going to be able to pull up to be like, what do you mean that's not how it works? I'll do it right now. Dream by Wumbo. And then your mom will be like, look, I just asked for a dog with a party hat on. What do you mean that's not how it works? They're going to fucking ruin your life. Shit. Sheeple. I hate to use the cliche word sheeple. It never really felt right for anything in my life, but my God, we are the easiest prey I've ever seen. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable how it's so willingly feeding themselves to this thing. This is absurd. All right, let me catch up here. Mega Mill Gaming says, I've seen tech bros and older people who think they failed at art promoting AI art. None of these people are artists. That so far, that's mostly my impression. I have to admit that I've seen and talked with a few people who are artists and have succeeded and are, well, they're not actively promoting it, but they're definitely engaging with it. And I think that I'm hoping that that's mostly from a failure of imagination, from them not seeing what's going to happen here, which it is definitely going to happen. Mihail says, I just want to give my thanks to you, Steven, for giving me the confidence to face AI directly in the eyes and help me stand against this BS. I'm proud of you, Mihail. I mean, my God, whatever's going to happen, however the war is going to go, don't go down quietly. Don't you love art? Don't you love art? Do you want art to be dominated by people who don't give a shit about art? Is that what you want in the world? With everything that's going on in the world, you think what we need is a tsunami of mediocre, unfelt art that drowns out everything else? Good God, we're gonna give existence away. We're gonna breed the first generation where it's like, oh, it's worse to be alive now than it was previously. Like, this is, what are we doing? What are we doing? Steven, do you think artists are going to be discussing this at Lightbox? It's the perfect gathering to start rebelling. You should, everyone who's going to Lightbox, I'm not this year, but you all should go, and you should make sure they're discussing it. And there is going to be, just don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. For the love of God, you're going to be, look, and at an industry thing like that, I have no doubt that there's going to be a lot of discussion about like, the changing environment around digital art. And there's going to be someone who has barely thought about it, but said, yeah, I'll sit on this panel, acting weirdly sanguine about it and saying things like, yes, but this is how the industry has always been. It's just a new tool. You have to adapt to tools. Please, for the love of God, don't give those people more thought than they have put into the problem, because I promise you they haven't thought about it for an hour. In fact, they've probably thought about it zero. Most people don't actually sit and think. A great way to sit and think is to write out your thoughts about it. That forces you to actually think it through. I have a fucking manifesto open on my other screen that is totaling up to tight. Right now it's at like, it's almost 8 pages just of arguments to fight against. And a lot of prose, a lot of writing. Like, don't just drink the Kool-Aid from people who haven't thought about it and who are incentivized to be just totally detached from it, right? Because they just want to feel like they don't have to worry about their future and their livelihood and things like that. It's absurd. The Dan Kenyon says, do you break out in random song in daily life as well? Constantly. I mean, life is worth singing about, and life is super fun. You know, I'm constantly running around like a kid who just woke up on Christmas morning. I mean, life's the best. Life is awesome. Life is great. It's worth singing about. All right, I'm behind here now. Let me try to catch up here because this conversation is important. We'll get back to drawing in a second. We'll get there. Man is speaking facts. Whenever I look at the comments and videos talking about AI, I get pissed. Everyone is like, wow, and so exciting. It's like they're not artists. They don't make art. It's like they're hoping they're gonna be the new artists. And it's like, they're gonna turn it off. It's gonna run automatically. You fools, you fools. Alex Kuhn says, I hate how people say the AI learns the same way as people do. It doesn't. I can't summarize my thoughts in those 200 characters, but it's just ridiculous how people who never learned art assume that. Yeah, I was just writing about that yesterday for my video. Let me, just so you guys have the argument, because even though I'm working hard on this fight is so urgent that it's like, I just need to get the arguments out there immediately, right? So I'm gonna give you the hot takes from my document currently, even though this is all gonna get edited. So let me just read this to you so you guys have it. Argument, don't people do the same thing with the references as the AIs do? So another version of that is what Alex Kuhn said, which is that the AIs learn the same way as people do. All right, so here's the counter argument. To clarify, this argument concerns the process of looking at references and the art of others, collecting them, combining them in the mind when working, transforming them, etc., etc. This argument is confused at its core and has two major issues to untangle. Firstly, yes, people do attempt the same thing, which begs the question as to why you would afford the privileges of this endeavor to unfeeling machines instead of human beings. A reminder, this is not calculating weather patterns. This is the thing people like doing. So why would you afford the privileges of the endeavor to unfeeling machines instead of human beings? Anyone with a humanistic outlook will see that because the attempt and desired outcome is the same, we should reserve it for those who stand to gain something from it, for whom it can bring joy and reward, rather than dumbly bestow it upon a non-being who is not experiencing the action and cannot enjoy the fruits of its labor. The second issue, as I've hinted at already, is that no, people do not do the same thing. They attempt it. Humans do look at references, collect them, combine them, transform them, and indeed sometimes do their best to outright steal. But in the vast majority of cases, they cannot replicate these references. You can look at as many Michelangelo drawings as you'd like. You can hang 100 of them up all around your drawing board. You will still fail to draw like him. You could not trace a Michelangelo sufficiently well to create confusion about which is the original. And if you could, it is almost guaranteed that you are an accomplished draftsperson in your own right through the sweat from your brow. The AIs do not have this sane and balancing constraint. The AI can perfectly achieve, through digital reproduction, memorization, and overfitting, any effect it is sufficiently trained on. So while a human's most vehement efforts to take the best parts of another's work nicely result in acceptable deficiencies and pleasant surprises, the AI can achieve perfect theft en masse. Yeah, the argument that they do the same thing we do is actually an argument against using the AIs. It's like, what reason is there to let them do the same thing we do when it's everybody's favorite goddamn thing? Stigmock says, when I told my girlfriend about what you said, Steven, she was pissed for the rest of the evening. Thank God. M. DeBoer says, my first reaction to AI art was, people will heavily get inspired by AI art, make some slight alteration, get a 3D model copy and dress it up in the foreground. Yeah, nope. That is not what's going to happen. Hi, Steven. How can we go against the steady march of technology, though? Isn't that like Metallica going against Napster back in the day? Do you still use Napster? Out of all the big name, I have a Spotify subscription. I don't know what to tell you. Steven, don't you think that the problem won't still be fixed? It's a great fight, but eventually, even without modern artist database, the AI will become amazing and replace 70% of artists. If it destroys the industries, that might be... It could destroy the spirit of art. That's my first war. I think it would be a good idea to save the industries personally and everything around them, but at this point, I'm hoping to salvage the spirit of making and the spirit of art. The fight... It's a horrible idea to give up on the fight just because we have a pessimistic outlook and it looks like it's eventually going to happen. Again, they are relying on you having that outlook. Everybody who's making these things, the CEOs of these companies, like Ahmad, who's going for $1 billion valuation, they are relying on you to look out into the future and be like, oh, it's not going to work. Might as well give up now. Fuck them. Take them to task. Ray Gecki says, seems kind of funny and elitist of you to deny people the opportunity to create art simply because you hate the way it's created. Stay mad. That assumes that this will actually enable everybody who... I can't believe I'm being accused of being privileged because I have worked hard to gain my abilities over some 20 odd years. I had to break my life in half to never give up doing this. You know nothing about me, Ray Gecki. I have no estate. My father died by suicide and left me nothing but some fucking shirts in the hovel that he was staying in. My mother will leave me nothing when she dies. I pay my mother's phone bill. I can't believe I'm being accused of being elitist and privileged for everything that I have had to just insist upon pulling off through sheer stubbornness and things like that. But that's actually not the issue, right? You're completely wrong and you're a fool, but that's not the issue. The problem is that you are assuming that this will give people opportunity to make art, which is, it won't. They're gonna take everything from you. And you don't give a shit about just making art. If you did, you would have already made the shitty version of your story or your comic or whatever that you're already capable of with your 0 skill. The thing that you actually want is that you want it to matter that you made your art and that you put it out there. And this will take that from you. Nobody cares that you just made it. Like I said, you don't either, because you don't make it. You don't make the crappy version that you already could make of your project. When everything is flooded, when there's no room to understand what people are making, once they just run infinite movies, games, images, TV shows, everything generated by these things, and completely flood the market so that there's no way to differentiate between one thing or the other, they will ruin everybody's dreams. You will have no opportunity. It will invalidate and make completely irrelevant that you typed anything into a robot. They're tricking you. They're tricking you. It's going to make everything that you want to make utterly irrelevant. And I'm not mad for me, I'm mad for you. I'm mad for fucking you. I'm also mad for me, but I'm also hugely mad for you. That's why so many people aren't mad, because they don't think about other people and they don't think about what it's going to do to everybody. It's absurd. It's absurd. Endless Pivot says, yes, people who don't know what art means, they will dig the AI thing, but over time, people value people's work, and I'm sure it will be frowned upon if the art is done by AI. I should hope so. I should really hope so. Ah, Amar B is in here. Even in the Renaissance period, artists and the early 20th century stole from other cultures, i.e. Picasso, whose style was heavily influenced by African art. It's amazing how once you put actual arguments out there, the people who want AI simply resort to, people have always committed theft, let's continue to commit theft. They have no argument. These people are just advocating for wholesale theft. This is absurd. Knox says, hey, Steven, thank you for your righteous anger. I don't draw often, but I feel inspired to pick up my pen. Please pick up your pen. Please pick up your pen. Please pick up your pen. Sorry, just trying to rapidly read to catch up. Just trying to get through it. Mitchell says, I just hope artists never stop creating things themselves, whether AI takes off or not. They must not. I mean, it's very important to keep creating. An artistic person who has that feeling in their soul, it'll kill them to not create. It'll drive them crazy. It'll rot their soul. We all know artists who have gone through that. Like, you have to keep making. You have to keep making. I was going to give up until you talked about it. Thank God. Don't give up. Don't give up. I mean, Jesus. It's your favorite thing, isn't it? It's the thing you always wanted to do. You're going to give it away for free. You're going to piss it away for free. For the love of God. For our own dignity. For our own sense of self-dignity. Be angry. For the love of God. For the love of God. We might be the last generation of people who have any reason to get goddamn good at drawing. Be pissed. People seem to think that everyone should have the right to everything and skills are elitist. Everyone must be equally bad at everything. I mean, the entitlement of these fucking people. It's seeping out of their ears and their mouth. You know, they can barely get their stupid words out because there's so much entitlement dripping out of their mouth. Like, Jesus. It's not even like it's a great robot that happens to be amazing at art. You feel entitled to steal the work of all these other artists. I mean, it spits out the Getty Images watermark. It spits out people's signatures. Like, you are arguing for your own fucking entitlement to create things trained and built off of the collected aggregate knowledge of all the great artists. What the fuck is wrong with you? And in what reality do you live in? And what do you think is the end game? You think it's worth it to do that so that you can spit out the infantile fucking anime that you've been dreaming of making since you were 8, but you of course never put any work into making? You're gonna forsake everything for that? Jesus Christ. We may have a fighting chance. I did some research and Getty Images doesn't allow AI images to be uploaded because of potential copyright issues, so I'm hopeful. I mean, the combat is going to happen on the legal front somehow. Rajan says AI art will never replace artists. I think it does not have the ability to design shapes and make things aesthetic. Yes, it does. It does. It already is far beyond acceptable or mediocre. It does those things just fine, much better than most artists. It does that stuff much better than most artists who have been practicing for even 5 years. I have to say, I think you're wrong. Yeah, I mean, that's subjective. Right? It's totally subjective, but you're currently wrong and it's only going to get better. Should AI art be its own separate genre? That would be nice, but the problem is that people can lie about it. I mean, they're just going to lie about using it. You're not going to be able, it's going to ruin your faith in art. I stopped, you know, I can't even look at ArtStation anymore. I don't like stuff on Instagram because I'm scrolling and you'll see something and I kept having the thought, just looking at weird little spots in a picture, I'd be like, is that AI? And it's like, I don't need that in my life. I'm done. It's like I had to get rid of all that stuff. Like, it's going to, like I said, it will change the optics in an extremely negative way. It will change the optics in an extremely negative way. Alex says, just got here. Did I miss anything besides getting off about AI again? Nope. Nope. What is the next step, Steven Zapata Art? How do we fight against them? Again, I've been linking them. I think the Concept Art Association so far is the most organized thing I've seen getting ready to fight back. I'll put a link to their YouTube in the chat. Go follow them. Tell them Steven sent you. Please tell them Steven sent you. And tell your friends. Keep an eye on them. Their most recent video was a town hall with Carla Ortiz, Craig Mullins, and some lawyers about AIs and what the ethical problems are, what the copyright problems are, things like that. Keep your eye on them, support them when these things pop up. There's other industries that are a bit more organized right now. Like, I've seen some things popping up for like voice actors and things like that, because it's going to be a problem for them too. The audio synthesizing AIs are able to just create a profile that sounds just like a particular voice actor, and you don't really need to hire them anymore. they're organizing on those fronts. So, and from what I've seen from the voice actors, they're a little bit more organized, a little bit more ready. It's EU based, the one that I'm thinking of, but like I said, it's a different industry than us. Could you get ideas from it? You could get other people's ideas from it. Do you really want to get your ideas from a robot? I ask you, like, I really mean that. Do you want to get your ideas spoon-fed to you by a faceless corporation? What's the end game here? What is the end game? Why do you want that? They are literally tagging and mocking Simon Stalenhag that they're specifically using his art to train. Absolutely insane. Yeah, they're doing the same with Gregor Rutkowski, all the big names. I mean, and again, I do agree, it's open mocking. Again, when you look at the double standard that they have with their music AI, it's openly mocking that they would have the gall to name an artist that they're ripping off. When with the music AI, their tail is so tucked between their legs that they're like, we would never put copyrighted data in the training set. Like, they're insulting you. They are insulting you in particular. They are insulting visual artists in particular. As someone who doesn't know much about AI in your new video, will you explain how it works for simpletons like myself, LOL? Probably not. I mean, honestly, it's like, if you want to know how it works, go type in like how to use Midjourney or how to use any of them. It's like, they'll explain it to you better, but it's like, it's not, and they all work slightly different, right? They all have different interfaces. The models use different forms, like different kinds of diffusion and things like that. And the problem with that is that anything I say now about how it works is going to become dated quickly, right? That's going to keep changing. But the philosophical problem with the wholesale rapacious strip mining of the entirety of human creative endeavor, that problem will persist. Because of AI art, I feel like I've got no motivation to post art on the internet anymore, for multiple reasons. One obvious being that my images could be used to generate art pieces. There's the seeds, everybody. There's the initial seeds. It's going to ruin the optics. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't feel it yet, but people will. People will en masse. People will come to feel that en masse. It will affect people. It's going to hurt the art spirit. Why do you want to hurt the art spirit? Come now. How do we know Steven himself is real and not AI generated? I need to like hold up a newspaper or something and be like, I'm really here today. Not like the AI couldn't fake a newspaper. That will be a problem. That will be a major problem. MT Art says, I remember 20 years ago when social media was being marketed to bring us together. Now it's a leading cause for depression, misinformation, radicalization. I bet there are consequences from AI. Yeah, it's like these things are built by the same people on the same models. You love all of that stuff? You love Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You're so happy you have them. They never piss you off. You never wish you could get off it. You never wish you could just bring yourself to uninstall them and get rid of them. You think this is gonna not go the same way? Jesus. Travis says, problem with progressivism. So interested in if they could do it, never thought about if they should. Progress for the sake of progress becomes less and less human. Yeah, this is steeped in, it's stewing in anti-humanist values. I mean, this is insane. It's insane. I'm going to put the link again. because the chat's going a little fast, so people are missing it. There's the Concept Art Association. Subscribe, follow. They're trying to get together some sort of cogent reaction. They're big names: Carlo Ortiz, Ryan and Rachel Meinerding, Craig Mullins, a lot of other people. Christian Alsman was in that town hall meeting and things like that. Follow them, support them. Tell them Steven sent you. If you tell them Steven sent you, maybe I can get Carla on here. Maybe I can get Carla on the show, and Carla and I can both scream excoriations into the wind. Levis Lupus says, I think people generally will always prefer art made by a person over an AI, no matter how cool the generated art might look. That might be true. The problem is that people won't be able to tell. And there will be so many people lying, saying that art they made with an AI is art they made as a person, that it'll be irrelevant. You won't be able, the problem is clear. Very soon, you won't be able to convince anyone that you made something by hand. No one's going to believe you. I think that's pretty clear because I already don't believe people. I'm completely burnt out. Like, I can't look at ArtStation anymore because it's so obvious to me. I'm like, I can tell that was made with an AI and they're just not saying it. How much other stuff is better hidden? It's just, that's the problem. You're not going to be able to tell. You're not going to be able to tell. And you might care to suss it out and find out what was really made by a person and what wasn't, but people in general will not. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, whatever, art's dead. They're happy to say art's dead. It's like, you're giving it all away. You're giving it all away. That's no quarter. There's no quarter. You have to Kim Jong-gi it. I mean, Meta just released the first samples of their video AI tool, and the very first video they put out there is a very convincing teddy bear painting a teddy bear. Your videos of you drawing are not going to help. This thing can reach every possible. It's going to destroy forms of evidence. You know, people like me, I'm good. People will always be able to see that I gained my skills and virtuosity long ago, right? They'll always know that I did this stuff before the AIs were a thing. But you all are going to have a very hard time proving to anybody that you worked hard and have any ability. You want that? You're going to let that happen? You're going to make it so that even if you work hard, you can't prove you worked hard? Fight, man. Fight. Great work, by the way. Thank you, Chris Maycock. It's insane that big companies are not voicing their opinions. What about Wacom, art supply makers, Adobe? That maybe they're just afraid to offend people or who might be in their market and stuff like that, but they're going to have to chime in. They're going to have to say something. Thank you for speaking about this, Stephen. People are downplaying how serious this is. They are. It's a failure of imagination, which of course is embarrassing if you're an artist. A failure of imagination is very embarrassing if you're an artist. They are downplaying it. I can't believe they're downplaying it, but I'm also not surprised because artists are not the most thoughtful people a lot of the time. And I just hope that whatever amount of vitriol I can muster serves to make it more acceptable and more normative to just really say the truth about what's going on here, because people are resisting. People are resisting. This AI will be the worst thing ever to exist. People communicate with images and there is a human quality behind it. This AI will destroy humanity. Well, it'll certainly hurt images. And yeah, we communicate with them. And art's a deeply human good. Making art is a deeply human good. Not the product itself, right? The product can bring value to some people, but the making of art is a deeply human good. And I think destroying and subverting the incentives around art making is deeply anti-humanist and extremely worrying. A very dangerous thing to do. People will have to move in real life to prove many things. Yeah, well, that brings its own... That's a hard ask for artists. Artists are very introverted. So, I mean, it might get to that, but that's its own can of worms, you know? This argument is why traditional art will always reign supreme. Well, I like doing it, but I mean, there should be lots of modes for creation and things like that. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if it actually raises the land. I don't know what rises up and what falls. I mean, who knows? Thoughts on people who use AI art in their portfolio? Oh my God. I mean, I can't help you. I mean, I won't. I don't know what I would train a person who uses AI on or teach them with, or but they also they wouldn't want to learn from me, right? I mean, I don't know what to say to a person who has AI art in their portfolio. It's like, if you want to make an AI art portfolio to go work at a studio or company that uses AI art it's just clear what you're doing. You're just going to have a job for 6 months while you teach the company how you do that, and then they'll put it on autopilot and they'll replace you. You don't... I laugh at the people who think it needs the prompts. It doesn't need the prompts. The AIs generate strings of text just as good as they make images. This is a joke. They're tricking you. They don't need you to type into it what to do. They could just hit autopilot and they could run every possible permutation iteration of all of the prompts that they want. They don't need you to make it. They would just need people to pick which ones are good, and they don't need you or they'll just put it out there and people will like it on Instagram, be like, that's the one I like, that's my anime waifu, her boobies look big enough in this one, yes, there's my heart. It'll be that over and over again. They don't need you. You're not going to become a fucking AI soothsayer who sits there getting paid a lot of money to be like, yes, with my incredible vocabulary, I pull the most beautiful images out of the computer. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. A failure of imagination again. AI will also be able to mimic traditional with little effort, I fear. There's traditional art making AIs. There are things like that. There are things like that. You'll have a very hard time proving you made anything very soon. You'll have a very hard time. Magdalena says, I feel embarrassed. I was like, meh, I'm trying to get more info now. As you find more info, you will grow more enraged. Anyway, can this drawing you are doing be a Christmas card? Yeah, I think it'd be a little generous to say I'm doing this drawing right now. But yeah, it can be a Christmas card. You know, whatever kind of holiday you want to have. I think you need to make a video on the curator theory. That argument is in my upcoming screed, my upcoming calumniation for the entirety of the AI industry. That argument is in there. I cover that. The whole video, the thing I'm writing is, it's just the usual arguments, or if you can call them that, these irrational fucking takes, for why AR should just be allowed to run and steal everything and, you know, trample copyright and artist work. It just goes argument for argument and offers the counter argument. I hope it serves you well. I'm working on it. It's like, geez, maybe I should just be writing that instead of sitting here. Fuck. When will we see the AI video? I'm working on it. Oh God, what a world we live in. It's like, I want this drawing to illustrate the AI manifesto video, so I need to finish it. You know, so you can see I'm doing it pretty fast because I'm fast and good. But honestly, it's like, Jesus, you know, in situations like this, audio is king, really, right? Like it's holding me back that I need to actually make the drawing so that it's there to illustrate it. But yeah, I just need to finish writing it, recording it, and I'll throw it out there very soon. I want it out ASAP. You know, if I could get it out this week, that'd be great. Ben Averill says, I'm not defending AI art. Good. But haven't we had automation taking over many artistic fields like wood and metalwork for over a century? Genuinely talented and hardworking individuals should be fine, right? No. Okay, first off, no one who did woodworking or metalworking is happy they got replaced. And just because we live in a time where we don't know a metalworker or a woodworker, you don't know a metalworker or a woodworker, doesn't mean that they weren't victim to an anti-humanist movement, right? I mean, that's the hard facts of the situation. Would you be so sanguine if your father was a metalworker and had lost his job to a metalworking robot and he never managed to recover and he died feeling ashamed of himself? Would you really be so sanguine? And what do you gain? Do you have some beautiful piece of machine-made metalwork sitting in your home? And the machines that replaced those fields and the ones that are the AIs are not comparable. They are simply not analogous. They are not tools, and they are not doing a specified task. They are generalized theft machines that are infinitely adaptable based on stealing work that other human beings have done. And they work en masse. They have infinite digital redistribution. They can run automatically. They are these false analogies to other kinds of tools and to other replacements in the past are going to undo this entire argument, when if you pull back, you can see they're utterly different. They're completely different. I saw Carlo Ortiz posted the other day an Atlantic article about it where they still compared it to a camera. What the fuck kind of camera gets up on its own 2 feet, chooses its own subject, and then hangs its photos in a gallery next to yours? It would only be analogous to a camera when the camera was invented, the camera only took pictures of paintings that humans had made and then printed the paintings at the exact same size and then sold them next door. This stuff, they're not analogous. They're completely, it's clear. Holy shit, you people have never used a tool. I've used every tool. I've been using Photoshop since I was 12. I did my first 3D renderings when I was 10. I own a VR headset for sculpting in 3D. I have a 3D printer. I stream art on YouTube. I love tools. I know what's a tool. You have no fucking idea what a tool is because you've never made a fucking thing. I love tools. I use them avidly. I didn't learn 3D begrudgingly. I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. And I'm super happy whenever a new tool comes out and I use it. It's so much fun to play. Because I know what a tool is, I know what's a tool and what's a fucking replacement. They're different. It's not a fucking tool. Shit. Idiots. Fucking no art making, non-contributing nobodies. It's a tool. You've never done a fucking thing. You've never taken a photograph. You've never drawn anything. The fuck do you know? Clowns. Unbelievable. Thanks, Basic Civilist. I'd sing for you, but I'm way too angry now. But I appreciate the $10. Oh, fine, I'll sing for Basic Civilist, yeah! Well, I had to. You know, I got it. Even if you're angry, sometimes you have to sing. Sometimes you have to sing. pisses me fucking off, man. You guys know me. I'm not like this. I don't. It's just so absurd. It's just so absurd. You guys know me. I'm just not like this. I don't. I'm a very happy person. I love the world. I love drawing. My life in particular is awesome. I mean, I would wish my life on anybody. My life is great. But I'm just not like this. But this is so absurd on its face. It's so absurd on its face. Holy crap. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's so true and a just really sad situation. I can't believe we got to this point. Me neither, Nat. Me neither. They don't dare do the same to the music industry. Yeah, they don't. Let me just, since there's more people here and there'll be new people here who didn't catch it, let me just explain the music industry case again. So Stable Diffusion is made by Stability AI. Stability AI is an AI company that is putting out multiple AI tools, and there's an insane double standard going on with their image tool and their music tool. This insane double standard, I am arguing, should make clear to you that they are purposefully insulting visual artists, and they are choosing to fuck you, and they know they're doing wrong. So let me read you this. The music models they're releasing are rightly afraid of these sectors that are better at standing up for themselves than artists and are made with copyright-free stock music. Stability themselves is being inconsistent. They are releasing a copyright-free music tool called Harmon AI while allowing the image side to run roughshod over visuals. From the Harmon AI release info. The Harmon AI's music tool is called Dance Diffusion. It's being released soon. This is them talking about it. Dance Diffusion is built on datasets composed entirely of copyright-free and voluntarily provided music and audio samples. Because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. Here's a part that should boil your blood. In honoring the intellectual property of artists while also complying to the best of their ability with the often strict copyright standards of the music industry, keeping any kind of copyrighted material out of the training data was a must. Was a must. But then in the other, while they're saying that, selling that as a pro, as a, don't you want this? Selling that as a pro here with their other offering. With Stable Diffusion, with their image model, they're like, fuck artists. We used a data set of 5 billion copyrighted images that we swiped from the internet with no oversight, and here's the key to your creativity, baby. They are two-faced, duplicitous liars who have no standards for consistency or ethics. They hate you. They hate you. Stop supporting them. Fight. You're gonna go down like everybody else has gone down. Just muling, accepting it, not looking into anything. Just blah, 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 blah. What the fuck? What the fuck? Someone asked me to link the article. That's where I got my quote from. Keep an eye on fucking Harmon AI's releases as they approach release. Watch how they want to fuck you in particular, because that's what benefits them. Okay, Steven, I'm off to get a flu jab and a gelato, but please maintain this level of anger until I get back. Shouldn't be hard for me. Gelato sounds good, though. Why are art students 100K in debt, not fighting LOL? They're ruining people's lives. They're going to ruin people's lives. Ephraim says, I love listening to these, but I don't think I can draw to them. Neither can I. I've barely drawn on this stream. It's just, this discussion needs to happen. I don't know what to say, you know? I'd rather be happily drawing. For all intents and purposes, especially, this is a waste of my time because I'm not in the industries anymore. I got out, you know, I do this stuff, you know, I train artists and things like that. I'm a YouTuber now. Like, at least for now, this is not coming from me first. You know, this is particularly, if it was going to be practically minded and just where I make my money or something like that, this would be a particular waste of time for me. But I give a shit about art and you and the people who make art and creative people, unlike them, unlike these evil artist-hating goddamn corporations that I can't believe any of our peers are supporting and justifying. Don't you support these, don't you justify this for these people. You're going to get caught up on the wrong side of what's going to be very ugly realization at some point, and they should justify themselves. Don't you help them. Don't you help them. They should justify themselves. Don't justify it for them just because they put it out without fucking asking anybody and sort of like, don't justify it for them. Jesus. That Teresa girl just joined, but thank you for talking about this topic. No problem. I appreciate the thanks because I know I'm making enemies. And by saying these things, I am pitting myself against the bovine acquiescence of a lot of my respectable peers. If you feel attacked, yes, I'm talking to you. What are you doing? The music industry have money behind them, lawyers. I think artists need to form an alliance and hire lawyers. Yeah, it's very important. I think we got to try to band together. Again, like I said, I'll put the link to the Concept Art Association. Again, they're doing some banding together. They have a Ko-Fi account you could maybe donate to. But from what I can tell over there, they're trying to put together a real sort of front, and they're talking with lawyers and people who understand the laws and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna support. That's the best thing that I've seen so far. Go subscribe, go follow, and tell them Steven sent you. Would it be fair to say that pro artists that sell courses don't want people to be alarmed so they can keep making a living? I've noticed many other YouTubers I follow seem weirdly optimistic. As someone who has those incentives, I would say yes, they probably do feel incentivized to keep people optimistic and not worried about it, but I don't know. I mean, if you guys are here, you know me, and you've seen my YouTube channel, right? I'm not here to fuck around with bad incentives. If it hurts my sales, that's not why I'm on Earth. That's just not why I'm on Earth. That's not why I have one consciousness. That's not why I have one chance to live. I'm not going to sit here and lie to the people that I care about because it's going to reduce course sales or something like that. I'm not going to do that. Maybe they're doing it. I can't tell you if they're doing it. You know, I spoke with James the other day. I was on his stream and I sort of turned him on to this for the first time. James sells courses and things like that, but after a good argument and after a little bit of an exorcism, he was like, oh shit, I've been sleeping on this. So I think it's too early to say that, you know, it's just like maybe they haven't heard the arguments, right? Maybe they haven't heard the arguments. It's like, get it out there, like talk to people, man, talk to people. Do you think there's a possible end to this where artists win? Of course. Of course. If we could realize why the hell we're artists, if we could get our humanist values underneath us, then we can do what we've always done, which is that we can elevate kinds of art with cultural cachet, with clout, with respect, with engagement with the profundity of the ideas, the cohesion of the ideas, and the environment around the ideas. If you don't feed them, if you don't give them energy, and if you rightfully shame people who are unabashedly stealing from you and fucking you over in particular, yes, of course, there's some good way this could come out. Am I going to say it's easy? Fuck no. It's not going to be easy, but wouldn't you rather have fought? Wouldn't you rather have fought? I love art, and I love the environment around art, and I love artists. If I watch the system crumble, I will at least sit confident knowing, well, at least I wasn't a pussy about it. At least I fought back, you know? That matters to me. That really matters to me. Agiranto says, I was struggling for a time to get back into drawing, but these AI things, they just kind of killed my wish to draw. Still trying, but I don't know anymore. All right, I'm going to read this comment again because it's a perfect example of why this is so important. I was struggling for a time to get back into drawing, but these AI things, they just kind of killed my wish to draw. Still trying, but I don't know anymore. That's an example. The optics, right? Agiranto still has all of the same internalized incentives to express their creativity that they did yesterday, that they did a week ago. All of those things are still there. They still do, in actuality, have every reason to draw and to make art. But the optics have changed as such because of these needless, senseless things that they are crushing the art spirit in Agiranto's chest. Why would we let that happen? And do you think if that occurs thousands, millions of times and cuts off the substrate of artistic energy, right? Do you think that's gonna have no repercussions for everybody? Do you think that's not gonna affect everyone all the way up? Everyone who's been doing it for a day and everyone who's been doing it for 30 years? Of course it's gonna affect everybody. Of course it's gonna affect everybody. And that's just from another artist. What are you gonna do when, that's another artist. What are you gonna do when it changes the optics for the whole world, for normal people who just hear on the news that you just type things into computers and it gives you beautiful images? What are you gonna fucking do then? It's very important to fight this fight. It's very important to fight this fight. It's very important to fight this fight. As I said that, two dogs started fighting outside. That feels thematically appropriate. Social media has killed a lot of young artists' inspiration. AI is the next nail in the coffin. It might not close the coffin, but it's a bad one. NatV says, I'm stuck in the loop of unable to draw since AI as well. I don't want an AI machine to steal my art. I need a web that is protected, just like privacy data. How did we let it get here? I get it. You know, I don't have a good answer for you, you know? Honestly, at this point, I feel safest showing my art on YouTube. It's like it's gated behind a video file, which is harder to download. Someone has to willfully screen cap it to steal it. And if they just try to feed my face into it, fuck you guys when you try to generate AI videos and my face is here in the corner because of all of the frames that have it in it. We'll see what happens then. This battle has implications beyond art. AI will infect all human activity for good and ill. It will have huge, far-reaching implications. I think what's important here is we need to set a standard for when something is so huge and has such gigantic implications, you don't just put it out there willy-nilly with no scrutiny, expecting everybody to accept it, and then get all self-righteous when people resist you. That's not good. That is really not good. That is going to result in some dystopian shit. We need to set a standard that you know, you need to think it through before you put it out, and you need to, holy shit, I mean, did they talk to a single artist before they put this fucking thing out? Like, and we need to set a standard that people will resist, that people will scrutinize, and that you don't get to be a self-righteous prick acting like you're the fucking victim when people scrutinize the fucking thing that you put out in the world. We need to change the standards. Guillermo Garcia, I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, with 5 R's. I don't know what the R is, but thank you so much, Guillermo. No need for the sad face emoji. Remember, life is glorious, beautiful, a stunning thing. Every leaf justifies existence itself. But I know why you're sad. I get upset too. I'm upset. I don't know what to tell you. I'm upset. And I'm brave enough to say I'm upset. Seth Hat says, I have plenty of will to draw, but I have a rather sensitive temperament. I've been trying to get through to friends on this, but having the arguments leaves me feeling too agitated to focus elsewhere. We appreciate every iota of fight you can put out there. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take a community of people putting out there a resistance, different ideas, putting forth philosophical arguments for why this isn't a good idea and who the hell actually wants this with the way that it's going to go. And if you have a sensitive temperament, like I said, we appreciate every iota of fight, but you know, we're also going to need all of us. You know, I have some fight in me. You know, I'm comfortable being contentious. You know, I don't really mind that. Maybe it's the New Yorker in me. I don't know, but I can maintain a seethe for a long time. But we're also going to need people much angrier than me still. You know, out of necessity, we're going to need people who are still even much more angry than me. Nat V says, they haven't talked to artists. Stable Diffusion and Midjourney had an interview, and they haven't asked artists for a reason, but used Greg's name to preview their code to get his likeness. It's crazy. Liking, you said, but I'm assuming you mean like the likeness of his art, right? Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. And what do you all want? I mean, if what you want to use the AIs for is to make great art, right? Doesn't that include having your own unique vision, being noticeable, having people say like, oh, that's their art? By definition, whatever you do to achieve that with the AI, it's all already fed into the machine. It creates this evil loop where you can never be unique again. If you're going to use that to try to be unique or to try to stand out or to try to make art that is somehow different or noticeable, every little aspect of what makes it different or noticeable, you taught the machine. It'll just be like, oh, it looks like you struck upon something nice there. Here's 1 million more of that. But we stand to make money from it this time, not your thing. And since we control the market, because you can only make so many a second because you're limited by your fingers, but we can explode any amount that we want, thanks for developing the style. And now we'll just execute 1 million more to drown you out, and we'll ask people to pay for one of ours. And you'll be fucked. You'll be completely fucked. You're not going to get what you want. It makes no sense for you to get what you want out of this. You're never going to make anything unique. You're always going to be training the robot to how to do the thing that you think is your special thing when it's just built on stealing the hard work of people who just work way harder than you. Basic Syphilis with another $5. Basic Syphilis, Jesus Christ, you're chubbing up my bank account right now. Steven, I can see it now, a person with no artistic bone whatsoever telling the AI what to do. AI does it. Then that person says, look what I did. Yeah, they're already doing that. And they're already getting, the irony is thick. I mean, if you read the stuff from some AI people, they're already getting all cagey about like, I don't want to share my prompts. How dare you ask me for my prompt? I don't feel entitled. I feel like you're acting too entitled to ask me to release my prompt. Motherfucker! Don't you ever, ever, ever talk about other people feeling entitled to your prompts or what rendering criteria did. Like, did you write trending on ArtStation or 8K high resolution? Don't you ever feel like other people asking for that is them being entitled when you are scraping all of the hard work of everybody who has any fight in them and taking it as your art. You're a vampire. You're a vampire. You're just a completely stupid, boring, trite, cliche vampire. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Absurd, man. Absurd. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. How did we let it get here? I feel so sad for the prompters. Don't feel bad for them. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And the lack of clout, respect, and money that they will get when they contribute to the complete flooding of art, they earned it. They earned their complete irrelevancy. They earned their complete irrelevancy. Updating my resume, AI prompt writer. That one won't be around for long. As I've said over and over again, they will just turn it on autopilot. The people who think they are like prompteurs, they are AI soothsayers right now, the people who think that, they don't realize that they're just another part of the training data. They're the tool, it turns out. AI is not a tool, it's a replacement. The prompters are the tool. And the function of them as a tool is to train the AI on what millions of the most tasteful people in the world think is the taste of the moment. And once it reaches critical mass, they'll just flip the autopilot switch. They'll let you prompt yourself masturbatorily in your bedroom, and they will just run the AIs automatically. And, well, that'll be the end of everything. I mean, good luck coming back from that. Good luck coming back from that shit. That will be the next course offered at Useless Higher Education, AI prompt writing. You're right. People will have majors in, I think you're right. If the timeline is just right, people will wind up having degrees in making themselves obsolete, for sure. By the way, as far as I know, USA has regulations on AI art where you can't put copyright on AI-generated images. EU has none of that, though. Yeah, the problem with those rules is that they're inconsistent, right? So they change from place to place. The other problem is that if we let this war of artistic cannibalization play out, if we don't resist and we let the AI people come to feel that Stability, DALL-E, Imagen, and Meta's tools, that all of them hold the key to their creativity, they will perform their ultimate magic trick. Where once you feel that they hold the key to your creativity, and you decide that you want to make money off of this, you want to use it to, you know, put out a comic or anime or anything, which won't make you any money, but you'll think it might, you will help them change the laws. Laws are fungible. Just because it's legal doesn't make it just. Just because it's illegal doesn't make it wrong. You will help them change the laws once you've been brainwashed over to their side, and then they will rug pull and take it all away from you. So the problems with the copyright laws is that people always find the ways around that if they have enough power. They've always managed to successfully do that. You've got to be very, very careful with that. You mean to tell me AI promoters are a real thing and not satire we just invented? Did people here think they were satire? They're real. This is real. The AI promoters are, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't, woo. Just because Stable Diffusion is currently being released open source, don't you forget that it is a for-profit company and that Ahmad is going for a $1 billion valuation. You think there's not AI promoters? Again, on the back of your fucking work, by the way. He's going off $1 billion valuation. Let me read... Just give me a second. To just read a quote, just to read something that I put out there yesterday. Stability.ai has been for profit since launch and is gunning after a $1 billion valuation. Do they really think they or the investors who are going to wind up on the board of directors want to give you your favorite toy for free forever? They just want to get a broad user install base and for you to get used to having it. Like I said before, you'll feel they hold the keys to your creativity. And then they'll leave you with this old model and move on to charging you for the shiny new one that has all the new features and the bigger data set, stolen data set, just like every other software platform. Don't let them trick you into thinking they're doing it for the love of art. Ahmad, the CEO of Stability AI, is a former fucking hedge fund manager, for Christ's sake. Hedge fund managers are the natural enemy of artists. You think he gives a shit about you? Please. Please. Sue the F out of them, that might be nice. Simon Klingler says, I don't think anyone can stop this train. The technology is here. We've seen that it's capable. It'll only speed up from here. They're depending on you to feel that way. They are depending on you to feel that way so that they can fuck you over. They are investing a lot of money and a lot of time to produce that reaction in your brain. You're being manipulated. You're being manipulated. A real abuse of open source. Please develop our software for free so we can make it proprietary later. Yeah, I mean, that's blatantly what they're doing, everybody. Like, it's blatantly what they're doing. They save all the prompts. You think your prompts are so... you think your prompts are so unique, so special that the... like, no, man. They're data mining the prompts. They are data mining the prompts. And then you're just teaching it what human beings want to see. Just run it on autopilot, and then they'll pull it away from you. DeBoer says, hedge fund manager. If I can have an educated guess, I think his main concern is money. Yeah, I think maybe. You know, I think so. I think so. I had somebody respond to that explanation saying they stand to gain nothing from restricting access to their model. I'm sure Ahmad would be very happy to hear you say that. He works very hard to delude you that much. Let's just think about it, man. A company has nothing to gain from restricting access to their product? Implicitly, you think a company has everything to gain for giving away their product for free? Are you 12? Are you fucking 12? How long have you been alive? What are you talking about? What? What? Jesus. And Schaefer says, hey, not complaining here. I'm in agreement with you. More curious. Will the stream channel get back to more drawing content versus AI discussion? Absolutely. All I care about is drawing. All I care about is drawing. I happen to like have the conditioning factors and the temperament for this to be highly energetic for me, but it's energetic for me because I love drawing so much. I don't love the unarming and wholesale destruction of my favorite thing. I don't want this. I happen to think people need to. I will stop. If there's a better fighter than me, I'll be much more inclined to, once the zeitgeist carries up and everybody's fighting, I'll be like, all right, we could calm down a bit. But for now, man, like, this is just, this has to be done. But I don't want this. I want to be doing this. This is what I like. This is my heart and soul. This is what I enjoy. This is my favorite thing. Yeah, I just want to be drawing. But it's just like right now, people have no idea what's going on. And unfortunately, for right now, pound for pound, second for second, this is some of the most good I can do, Great White Sufi says, they stand to gain nothing from creating scarcity and increasing the demand for their product, is what I hear. Yeah, that's what I hear too. If you've been around for any amount of time, you know that that's absurd. That's absurd. It's crazy. And again, it's a for-profit company, and they're going for $1 billion valuation. If they're going for $1 billion valuation, that means they're going to take on investors. If they're going for $1 billion valuation, they're going to take on investors. And most investors want to be on the board of directors. Do you think that the investors who they put on the board of directors have any reason to give you your favorite toy for free forever? And do you really think that these people who are riding the wave of the zeitgeist and being so popular don't want an initial public offering? For the record, once they become a publicly traded fucking company, they have fiduciary responsibility to raise the value of the stock for the stakeholders. And it does not raise the value of the stock for the stakeholders to give you your favorite toy for free forever. They're brainwashing you. It's God damn it. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. Verithel with the $10. Keep fighting the food fight, my dude. Thank you so much. I'll fight the food fight. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get a big basket of tomatoes. I'm gonna write each one of your names on each tomato, and I'm gonna fling it at these fuckers. They're gonna have tomato all over their face. All over their face. All over their face. Is there a way to fight against this? I'm gonna put the Concept Art Association in the fucking chat again. In the fucking chat. Really happy that it is finally talked about, even though it seems hopeless. I landed in the mental hospital a month ago because of that crap, and I'm so glad that Steven raised his voice against it. You hear that? Landed in the mental hospital. It's not good for people. It's steeped in deeply anti-humanist values. Who does this serve? Who are the AIs working for? What is everything for? Why are we building this? We could have built anything, for the record. Who are the trees for? The lovely architecture. Art. Who are our companies supposed to serve? All of this. It's supposed to be for us. It's supposed to be for people and for the joy that can be felt in the moment by people. Why are we taking away one of our deepest, most robust, most long-lived, most useful, most life-affirming sources of meaning? And it's a great one. Drawing is infinite. It puts you on a beautiful journey that you can do for your whole lifetime. Who the fuck is this for? They know I was talking about the freaking AIs. Yeah, how did they know? I wasn't looking at chat. How did they know this? Strange times we live in, friends. Ah, strange times. You know, I also see as a teacher, it's just like, as someone who teaches art, and the particular way that I teach art, where I really like get in with people's emotions and things like that, I'm in a bit of a special position there where I know like the most common pains that artists are going through, which is not a position that all artists or all art teachers even are actually in. You know, they don't necessarily open themselves up to that stuff. Because I can see like, this is the last thing artists need right now. I mean, we're not in some golden age of art. Artists already can barely bring themselves to spend enough time, the amount of time they want to spend doing their favorite thing in the world. That's one of the reasons they come to me. They're like, why am I in this situation where this is my favorite thing and I can barely bring myself to work on it? It's like, the last thing we need is more global incentivizing factors that are saying there's no need to work on it, there's no need to stay with it, just plug it into a robot, there's no incentives to do this. Like, this is the last thing artists need for their current mental situation. It's the last thing. As someone who's in computer science, I also see the other side. It's interesting to see the technology working the way it does. It's a shame that we could end up abusing it. Yeah, just to be clear, as a person, as a human being, without the artist side of me, I'm as abjectly interested as anybody else, right? I'm interested to see what is happening. Let me read a little something from my upcoming video. Where are these? These arguments are about the flawed, unethical, and deceptive environment around these systems. I also want to say that I, as a person of this world and time, am as morbidly curious as to what these systems can create as anybody else. And I am certain that I will be deeply moved by examples of AI art in the future. That doesn't mean the horrendous oversights and anti-humanism of the current system is above reproach. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Joe, you're pretending by saying that you picked a weird time to join. You know this is my normal state. Joe's lying. This is not weird for him at all. He knows this is absolutely typical of me. So please, you know, I envision this is going to be a protracted, boring war. I hope that these discussions and these arguments equip you all sort of. I don't know how many people's minds I can change, but I hope that I can create these initial factors where as you hear the news and you see these things coming up, you see what I'm talking about. You're like, ooh, you know? I want you to just open your mind and be aware of the tricks that they're pulling and what they're trying to get away with here. Eva Pelko says, are you going to Lightbox, Steven? I am not. That reminds me of something. I have to check my phone. I am not going this year. My plans fell through. I am trying desperately to move right now. And it would be a bad... it would be a very bad time for me to leave for a week. Spread the good word over there, though. I'll definitely go next year. I'm going to say it's a definite for next year. That's funny, Joe. Jesus belongs in my heart, not proselytizing in chat. Do you reckon if there would ever come a time where laws would be built around or against AI generators, since this would definitely expand to more than just art in the future? I would hope so. I mean, I just don't see what people want from this. I don't see why people want... We all hate the algorithms. We all feel disserved by them. We all loathe Instagram, Facebook. It's just like, what? I think it would take a lot for us to really to close it off. I think it would require sort of an enlightenment of humanist values of just being oh, right, this is supposed to be for people to feel good and for people to be happy. There's no reason to, just because it's possible, take away the things that bring people the most joy in their livelihoods and things like that. We don't have to do that. That's weird. I think it would take... It's crazy to say, but I think we're pretty far from that. Even though it seems so obvious. I watched someone defend AI art because it filled in details on a painting from her, thus saving her hours of work. She's the only person I've seen defend it. Honestly, things like that, it's like, if you're doing considerable handwork like that, that argument I'm much less energetic about. I'm much more neutral on those situations. The problem is that I think it's clear to anyone who thinks about it that that's not going to be around for long. That's not really going to happen for long, and that's not the trajectory of these things. I would encourage you to go read the way that the AIs themselves talk about themselves. They don't reference you. They want to give you a perfect product that requires no touch-ups, no more interaction, no more improvement, no more compositing, nothing. They just want to deliver a perfect product, that is to say a replacement for artists, right off the bat. And again, for anybody who doesn't get the problem with that, the exponential improvements required to produce that perfect product will all be predicated on greater amounts of theft of other people's work with no consent, not asking them, no opt-in, no opt-out options. So it's extremely flawed. Extremely flawed. To read a little bit about that. And AI art programs may be a tool right now in their earliest state, but to think it will continue this way requires a willful ignorance about the tool you're using and the environment around it. They are not meant to be tools for artists. They are replacements, and they are advertising themselves as such. Just read the language they are using to sell it to you. Here's some quotes from Stable Diffusion's release for researchers. Stable Diffusion is a text-to-image model that will empower billions of people to create stunning art within seconds. Another quote, you can see some of the amazing output that has been created by this model without pre or post-processing on this page. Notice the language. They don't want a future where you need to touch these images once they've generated. They have no interest in leaving any task for anyone who considers themselves an artist to do. They want you completely out of the picture, even though your art trained the AI. They want to sell the promise that someone with no experience on day one can make the same image that someone with years of experience can make. That would, of course, be the most salacious marketing point, and so they will rush towards it with singular focus. Whether or not they actually achieve that goal is almost irrelevant, because they will advertise that they have so broadly that it will utterly transform the optics around art for the world at large. That said, they will achieve it. Much of what is already possible with these systems surpasses good enough, and the masses have had an acceptance of mediocrity beaten into them of late. You will not be touching up these images, improving them, or compositing over them for long. Oh, and you can go ahead and do a Control F search on the page I pulled those quotes from for the word artist. 0 results. Isn't the solution really simple? Datasets need to be public so we can check that no copyrighted works are used. You can check the dataset. People opened it up. They didn't, but people created a database so you could search, I think it's 1 billion of the 5 billion images that are in the Lion Aesthetic dataset. Maybe by now they've unlocked all 5 billion. It's not about checking that there's no copyrighted works used. It's all copyrighted work. It's all stuff they stole. It's all copyrighted work. You could go look. It's all in there. It even has people's private medical photography. Photos surgeons took of their patients after surgery, post-op, pre-op. It's all in there. The problem is that no one's fighting back, and they don't know. And they know artists are too docile to put up any kind of an argument. It's not about checking. We know it's all copyrighted material. We know it's theft. Selling your art back to you will be AI soon. Yeah, these people are selling you the shirt off your own back. They are. Is AI also going to destroy concept art and design? I mean, it's like for a particular niche, I don't want to get too involved in fortune telling, you know? I think these systemic meta problems are pretty clear, at least to me, right? But it depends what you mean by destroy, and it depends what you mean by concept art and design. You and I might have very different opinions about what concept art and design are, And we might have very different opinions about what destroy means. But to think it won't change things tremendously is, by my liking, crazy. It's going to change things a lot. Art Apprentice, do you have a link about the private medical images? There's the medical photo stuff. You can find a lot of articles about it. This drawing looks amazing. Oh, thank you, Brody. I forgot I was working on it. LOL at Modern Day James, also streaming right now with the title is Artificial Intelligence Daddy. I thought he wasn't streaming until 1. He is streaming right now. I'm just going to go watch James's stream. I'm just going to make sure they're arguing about AI in there. He's doing the good work over there. Okay, good. They're talking about AI. That's excellent. So for now, the only way to fight back as a non-influential person is to follow the Concept Art Association and talk about it. Yeah, and look for other people who are banding together. If you find other things, distribute them, talk about them. It's like, that, unfortunately, because artists have been really bad about community building and supporting each other, and we're all very insular, unfortunately, yeah, we're starting on the back foot here. So far, that's the best thing I've found. This thing is just odd. There really seems to be no proper historical precedent. Yeah, there isn't, which is not a crazy thing to say. Hate to break it to you, AI apologists, but saying that data mining exploitative AI programs that are trawling everybody's private and copyrighted information is different than the invention of the photograph isn't crazy. Actually, it makes perfect fucking sense. There is no proper historical precedent. I wonder when Wizards of the Coast and Blizzard will start suing. Jesus. So the AIs really need to... they got to watch out for those live wires. The problem is if Wizard and Blizzard don't sue because they're like, we want to use the AIs, then they'll get in bed with the enemy, and that's not good. I need to finish this dang drawing so that I can put out my AI video. I'm surprised Nintendo and Disney are not. They really need to get on board. They need to open their eyes, man. And like I said, we need to really make sure that they do not get in bed with these people. We should shame them unto the ends of the earth if they start using programs that are trained on everybody's art illegally. Joe says you can't get in bed with an AI because they never sleep and they don't fuck. What? Stupid. Lamework says they need to open their AIs, man. Yeah, Shadow's Q, for anyone who hasn't caught it, Shadow's Q point is just absolutely ridiculous. Did y'all hear about the music AI from the same company? It was opt-in and public domain only. I don't know why they couldn't do that with the art one. Yeah. It's almost like they're screwing you over in particular. They're insulting you to your face, and they don't care about you. In fact, they hate you. And I think that that analogy that is made there with the music AI that they themselves are making is pretty egregious, pretty absurd. Also, Ahmad, Stable Diffusion's creator, violated the AI ethics code by putting his worldviews on the AI. We live in a capitalistic world. Democratize art without our votes or consent. Well, Ahmad doesn't care about you or what you think. He's a fucking hedge fund manager. He doesn't care about you. And he doesn't care about violating ethics, and he's certainly not doing this for artists. Guys, he's a hedge fund manager for 19 years. He lives and breathes money, and it's the only thing he's interested in. And he'll say whatever he needs to say with inconsistency and with no standards, moment to moment, to make more money. He doesn't care. Our community needs to be far more litigious, sue everybody. Yeah, well, it's protecting the musicians. Stability is afraid of the musicians. They're not afraid of us at all. We gave it all away. We gave it all away for free. We gave it all away. We gave it all away for free. Is pursuing a career in art still worth it at this point? It depends what you find worth it about a career in art. I know for someone like me, no matter what, it would always be worth it. That's because I just need to make artwork. I need to be creative. I need to express myself, and I need to live a life that is aligned with my values. If the worth it is like money, well, it was always a little bit of a worrying prospect to go into art for the money. I mean, rarely art is always risky, and it's always hard to make it as an artist. It's always hard to make a career out of it. There is no easy path to that. So it depends where your idea of worth lands, you know? I'm not, for a question that big, which is so personal and so tied up with where you're at in your life, what your financial background is, how much support you have, I'm not going to give you an answer to that, right? I don't know enough about your situation. But if I could give any advice, like, broaden, you know, like, it was always a slippery thing to think that you could make a robust life as an artist by selling yourself out to corporations who really don't care about you too much and are not properly rewarding your creative ability. Go broader, you know, be out there more. Show people what you really think. Be interesting, for the love of God. You know, like, actually have a viewpoint, have an opinion, talk to people. Don't just produce art, but like, make the world more goddamn artistic. You know, like, increase the energy around art. And I think you will always receive rewards for that. And learn traditional. You know, if it's any consolation, I feel well rewarded. I mean, I love my life. I mean, it's a rare life, you know, but, you know, it's good work if you can get it, man. I mean, you know, right now, I don't need to answer to anybody. I make my own schedule. You know, I choose what I do. I've arranged my life such that the amount of work I'm capable of, I can actually dump it in to my life whenever I want. Like, when I worked for clients and things like that, there was so much time where I had to pretend I was busy, or they just couldn't afford or handle the amount of prodigious output that I was actually capable of. Now, I can explode with productivity and creativity as much as I would like. I can make it all productive. And yeah, monetarily, I'm comfortable and very well rewarded. So, and I get to do whatever the fuck I want. It's great. It's good work if you can get it. I acknowledge that it is worrying that the incentive structures around everything are shifting, and that we live in times of chaos and uncertainty. Colleen says, art is definitely worth it. I just mean a career in the industry. Like, would it even work out? Anyways, there's nothing else I would do, I guess. What's a good activity to end the day? Having issues with staying up late? I like to walk my dog. Walking the dog right before bed is such a nice way to calm down, to relax. Just easy, baby. Oh, it's good. And it's easy, baby. You often mention qualities that artists sorely lack and how it bites us in the butt. I'm curious, which of those do you think are the most important to cultivate along the art skills? Advocating for yourself, you know, which extends to things like negotiating, asking for what you're worth, you know, charging higher prices, things like that. Advocating for yourself and trusting yourself, which I guess are kind of, they're the same thing. But artists are supposed to be sort of independently minded and self-movers. You know, they're supposed to be able to envision something, have vision, and then pursue it. And that requires the ability to trust yourself. And a lot of artists are very lacking in that. And it's just, you need to extend yourself some great amount of compassion and grace. And yeah, I don't know how to put it. Trust, you know, you've got to accept that you're a very complicated person and that there's a lot going on with you, and that there's depths to yourself that you don't understand, and that you want to be an artist for a reason, right? Because you're you're sensitive and expressive, you need to trust yourself. Would it be okay with you to have a call with MDJ? I wanted to be on both streams. I think maybe I'll just try to jump over to his maybe afterwards, because usually when I try to do that, if I have too many things going, my computer's been crashing lately. So I'm not sure I want to risk it. I also I AI bombed his stream just a few days ago, or on, what was it, Thursday last week, and it's like, I don't want to, you know. James is a creative guy. You got to give him his room to do his own thing, you know? Let him. He's an artist, you know? Let him navigate. Our anger can only be expressed here. No, 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 no. Your anger can be expressed everywhere. You're not kidding. Great animator. Yeah, James is awesome. James is genuinely extremely good. He ain't no hack, my dude. Maybe don't express your anger at work though. Your non-artist coworkers probably aren't interested in AI art and the ethical and legal problems therein, but you never know until you ask, am I right? Leave them alone. If you work at a place, an art place though, if you work at a studio or something, yeah, it might be a pretty good place to start putting up the fight. I don't envy you, man. If you're at a studio right now that is bringing these AIs on, and you're like watching them gleefully be like, yay, let's use these programs that have stolen art from everybody's totally illegal things, and then they're going to be like, you know, of course people at the top are going to know, so they're going to be like, look, we know there's some ethical problems with this, but we need to use it, so you have to use it, but you can't tell anyone that you're using it, so you're going to put your art out there, they're going to release your art, you know, you're going to have to lie to all of your peers and your friends and the people who look up to you because of the legal problems. You're going to have to tell them, oh yeah, I totally draw at work all day and at the studio. They're just going to dig your hole deeper and deeper and deeper and force you into a sort of tacit complicity with all of the unethical and illegal things that they're doing. I really feel for you. I feel for you. I have a lot of sympathy for you. But I'm not sure that makes it okay. And I know I'm in a privileged position because I get to do my fun pencil drawings and draw whatever I want every day and make a great living off of it. I know I'm in a privileged position, but I think there's some problems. I think there's some problems. Zapata rants are the ideal way to start the day. You know it. Why are people pretending AI art looks even decent? It feels like a massive shill campaign. So I would be very careful, at least I personally, I'm not paying much attention to any arguments that have to do with it looking good or not. And none of my arguments that I'm writing out or anything like that have anything to do with the current way it looks. It's about the systems and the bad incentives around it, because it's just going to look better and better. Like I don't think you can base your arguments on this front on the way it looks. And I have to say I disagree. It's like, we may not think it looks good, but the problem is that you don't know how much AI art you're not going to know how much AI art you're looking at that you don't know is AI art. You get what I'm saying? Like, you think the AI art you notice is bad, but you won't know how much of it you're not noticing and you're thinking is human-made art. Because there's already tons of people putting out their work and they're not interested in saying that they used AI. You know, that's only going to grow and grow. If only people could understand the value of a human being making their own creative choices at every step, working on a piece. Yeah, I mean, that's almost like a next order discussion. I mean, people have no idea how important it is that art pieces take time and that you change your mind as you make them and that you spend multiple days on them so that you get re-inspired in the middle of the process by looking at a leaf, by looking at a turtle, by a tree that you saw the other day. The fact that it is occurring over an expanded timeline is a huge part of the process. And anything that does it quicker is only pretending to make things better. And it's not going to make you happy. Just like all of these other head rush, utterly productivity-based, life-stealing, just casting you out into the projected future fucking technologies, you're going to come to hate this thing. You're going to come to hate this thing. I try to filter out self-proclaimed artists who only use AI by looking at their accounts for sketches, but this is only temporary. I'm sure the AI will be able to produce sketches soon too. It will, yeah. It will be. It'll be able to do everything. I heard a guy making the argument that AI are not able to make emotional storytelling work the way humans do. What do you think about that? I have that's argument 2 in the video that I'm writing. Argument 2, people will just need to focus on story and everyone will be enabled to tell theirs. I'm not going to read the whole counter argument here, but I'll read, let me pick a part here. I have already mentioned the biggest problem with this argument. The AIs will get just as good at telling stories as they are at making images. They will produce novels, nonfiction, and essays by the library of Babel full that are mires of half quotations and unattributed swipings. These will, of course, get automatically fed to the AIs that make images and videos and games, and the cycle will be complete, self-contained, and human-free. Just like the idiots who make these things have always dreamed. An endless hose of every imaginable film, TV, news story, and image, as well as every imaginable permutation on each instance of those. This will completely flood the realm of story, and the future will find itself eminently ghost-ridden. The anime that you've been dreaming of making since you were 8 and that you are willing to forsake all of art to produce with these AIs will get the attention it deserves in this environment. None. And when your precious dream project regurgitated in moments by an AI receives no attention, no clout, and no money, you will rest well knowing you earned it. Not even your mother will be able to find it in the waist-deep pig feces you begged for. This wouldn't be a problem on its own, except that you will ruin the market for everyone who is positioned to pull something off. You will gain nothing and hurt your friends and peers. No need to heap the shame on your head yourself. I'm happy to shovel it on for you. Same here, I used to post, but after seeing the AI art surge, I decided to just keep my drawings to myself. That might be aligning with what the kids are doing, right? Because I'm not youthful anymore. So a youth, please tell me. Don't youths find it kind of cringe to post a lot of stuff to Instagram? Aren't they like, it makes you look too thirsty or something like that? I wonder if we're gonna have a movement now where, people stop sharing their art. Does that sound healthy? That doesn't sound healthy. Post this article, please. I will. Once it's written, I mean, that's just the in progress version. Once it's done, I'll record it, I'll release it as a video, and I'll also release the text as a transcript. So you'll all have it. I hope the arguments equip you well. Hey, Emma. Good to hear from you, Emma. Don't forget, everybody. As time goes on, we try to figure this whole crazy thing out. Make some friends, you know. Go to life drawing. Meet people. Engage with humans. Go to your local art store and chat up the owner. I mean, it's all very, it feels good. And it reminds you what life is about. You know what? I'm going to do that today. I'm going to go to my art store today and chat up my local art store owner. I'm just going to sit around in the store, ask questions about materials I don't even want to buy, you know? Pick his brain on such and some paint that I'm not even planning on using. Ask him what he thinks about this or that, or would he ever consider ordering a display rack of this, or maybe a little box of that. Maybe we'll have some nice silent moments where we both just gaze around the shop quietly. You know, you got to energize yourself with the stuff of life while we go through this. Where do you live, Steven? In New York City. My local art store is a Hobby Lobby. Maybe you should open one. I was so happy when my local one opened. We'd had another one, but it closed down during the pandemic. A new one just opened up. Emma says, I almost just finished the upload of the stream with Modern Day James, and it really made me rethink my stance on AI. It's good. I barely had a stance. I didn't have any knowledge of it at all, so I feel lucky I went back to listen to both of you. Oh, thank God. Also freaked out, of course. Yeah, I mean, they're doing bad stuff. You know, we've been throwing links around here to articles about the medical photos that they have found in the training set and how Stability themselves is doing an insane double standard where they're releasing their music tool with copyright-free and opt-in music, even though they did nothing of the sort for the image version. It's, you know, it's just blatant, just bad faith. You know, they're just, it's like, it's okay to be angry. You know, there's bad stuff going on here. Well, I'm happy to have brought it to your attention, Emma, truly. Got to keep our eyes open. We really need to keep our eyes open. We need to keep our eyes open and keep the pens in our hands and not quit and talk about it. Talk it out. And remember, it's about the systems, man. It's like, what the hell are they doing? It's like, I don't think the argument is really about, like, I get so bored by the, like, is it art or not thing. It's like, that's not what it's about for me. I happen to think it is art, but it's like, that just doesn't mean much. Like, I think everything's art. I mean, it goes without saying that human beings can express themselves with absolutely everything, right? Anything. You could, I mean, people can express themselves with bottle caps that they pick out of the trash. I mean, you know, Vito Acconci masturbating under the floorboards of a gallery back in the 70s, you know, that's art. You know, he sure thought it was. It's like, I happen to think it is art, but it's like, that's not really the debate. It's about the systems around everything. It's around how unethical everything is and how wrong they did it, you know? Thanks, Steven. I feel like you're one of the only artists I watch who's taking AI art seriously. Yeah, I don't understand that. Artists who I look up to, even mentors, are saying, don't worry, it's not there yet, or it's just a tool. God bless them, you know, and I know that I'm pitting myself against my peers here, but they're just not thinking it through. That's not surprising. People generally don't. They just haven't thought about it. There's not, just because they have an art job doesn't mean they're some all-seeing art genius and that they've automatically thought through everything about art. I mean, often the contrary. You know, a lot of professional artists and mentors, they're very, you know, they don't care that much, you know, it's just their job. It's like, they just haven't thought it through, man. Stability AI tries to make AI laws that allows them to keep scrapping without permission. You can support the UK Actors Foundation. I think that they try to fight that now over there. Carla puts it up. Yeah, please. If I don't have a link for that right now, and I can't really go digging for it, but I know the UK actors, like voice actors, are fighting against it. Please support them. Find that. If anyone has a link or anything like that, throw it in there. Any tips on how to keep informed on the topic, says Emma? For any topic I feel is generally hard to find valid info on the web apart from a few select sources. I will again link the Concept Art Association, which from my searches have is the collection of people who are keeping the most informed and rigorous about it. Subscribe to their YouTube, follow the individuals there. I think Carlo Ortiz is a very good person to follow, but they have a lot of people on their roster. They did their AI town hall a month ago, but they're putting something together. So I hope very, very soon we'll hear what their plan is. But subscribe, follow their stuff, and just keep your ear to the ground with them. They have an Instagram that I wasn't following. Follow back? Of course follow back. God bless you, Concept Art Association. Nate G says, how did the Stevens of Drawing Ascendant combat the rise of AI art? Well, Nate, if you pay attention to the intro, Stave is compiled by an AI. I don't want to say that I'm extremely prescient and that all of my predictions are true, but it's a little on the nose, don't you think? John GDDR5 says, Steven, on the Reddit forums, these AI devs justify that it isn't theft and not unethical by saying how deeply mathematically abstracted into randomness and functions after learning. Really? Do they really think that? Then why in the good fuck would they say this about their music AI? Dance diffusion is also built on datasets composed entirely of copyright-free and voluntarily provided music and audio samples. Because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. In honoring the intellectual property of artists while also complying to the best of their ability with the often strict copyright standards of the music industry, keeping any kind of copyrighted material out of the training data was a must. I ask you, if they really believe that stupid shit, why the fuck are they saying that about their music model? Let's hear it. Let's hear how music and art are so different. Jan Tamba says, Steven, what do you do when your family only values your art when there's a company name attached to it or that it sells? You do nothing. I mean, they don't get it. I mean, you can try to turn them around and increase their taste in art or something like that, but for the most part, I would just cut your losses and move on. You're going to have to take a stand in your own life. And fight the AIs. The AIs are not going to make that better. Your family, which is concerned only with optics, is not going to enjoy your art more when they start hearing on the news that pictures are just generated by typing words into computers. It's not good. I wish I could bottle your rage and save it for later. It's like a refreshing drink because other people just don't seem to see it the same. I don't know what they're doing. They're incentivized to not see it the same. life is already hard enough for an artist. To add a meta battle about art on top of it, most artists don't want to do it, but Jesus Christ, we have to. Nick Ravioli says, I have to admit it's admirable that you managed to vent and still make such progress on the piece. Well, you know, not that much progress. Not from where I had already started this morning, you know. This AI talk actually reminds me of a YouTube video that I watched of a person impersonating a YouTuber using an AI text-to-speech program of another YouTuber, and it sounded way too real. Yeah, I also think a lot of people don't actually know how good the AIs are. I think a lot of people are just going off of couple AI images thrown up at the top of a couple articles. They're better than you think. They're better than you think. Is there a way to do AI art right? That's an interesting question. So for me personally, I actually think that a model built on, for the record, the only images you would ever be fucking allowed to use for anything. If you post somebody's picture of a bee on your fucking blog, a copyright troll law agency is going to email you and say, hey, that's this photographer's thing and this is a cease and desist. You either take it off or we'll sue you, right? That's what happens to you if you use fucking anything. The only things you're allowed to use for anything goddamn commercial are Creative Commons and Creative Commons imagery and public domain imagery. And I think that if the AI companies made an AI model off of Creative Commons imagery and open and public domain imagery, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. And it'd be super cool and interesting. The problem is that they're not going to fucking do that because they know that artists want to steal the trends and that people want to have something hot, new, and flashy. So they're just not going to do that because if you follow what is in the Creative Commons and what is currently in public domain, because that's based on timescales, what the AI will be best at is going to be like only making Civil War photography. Like that'll be the thing that it does the best. So they're not going to do that because it's just, they're not going to be able to sell it enough. But me personally, everything that I feel and stuff like that, if you trained a model on those things, which again, I must remind you, is the only thing they would let you use, it'd be fine. I think it'd be cool. It's not hurting anybody. You know? Because, I mean, today, you can take a John Singer Sargent painting and you can print it on tote bags and make all the money you want off of them. Like, we have a system for that. Sargent's dead, you know? And his grandson is making tons of money off of reprinting his oeuvre. So I think stuff like that would be quite fine. You know, I don't know that I would use it. You know, it's not the kind of thing I'm interested in using. I'm sure you could still make some interesting things, but I just have a hard time believing that these total sociopaths would ever do something like that because it's just not as salacious. You know, they have to say like it does really good World War II imagery. You know, that's what they would be saying. And it's just harder to sell. And they're just going to do what makes them money or what protects them. So I just don't think it's in the cards. I don't see them doing that. But for the record, I think that'd be fine. A public domain donated squeaky clean model would still completely upend livelihoods. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, it needs to I also said, I forgot to mention, Creative Commons, public domain, and opt-in, opt-out. So if it were to I don't think it could completely upend livelihoods because if it's trained on old stuff, you know, what's the copyright thing? It's like 80 years or something like that. If it's trained on old stuff and most Creative Commons stuff is really not that popular, you know, it would limit its ability to make things that are very hot and popular and let's put it bluntly, like actually quite good. It would limit it severely. And then they could push it by asking people to opt in. So you could ask someone like Craig Mullins to opt in to put his paintings in it, and he could get paid handsomely to do that. But if for some reason Craig ever suffered some loss to himself because the AI makes images like his quite well, he could opt out. He could pull it out, and then he could regain control of the situation. So I'm not saying it wouldn't be problematic. And like I said, I still don't think I would use it. I don't think that shit would necessarily be... It's not the kind of art I would be interested in engaging in, but I think there's more of a discussion to be had there. This current version is openly ridiculous. Openly, absolutely ridiculous. Openly ridiculous. I'm doing a master's thesis in machine learning. Do you have any interesting art-related ideas for a thesis? No. No, I don't. You said that they are going to pull a rug pull once the models are trained, but how do you explain stable going open source? Stability AI is a for-profit company, and they are Ahmad is gunning after a $1 billion valuation. Now, even if he doesn't become a publicly traded company, if he's going for $1 billion valuation and he's going to take on investors, investors go on the board of directors. Do you think the investors in this company who are going to wind up on the board of directors are interested in giving you your favorite toy for free forever? Clearly not. And then if he does do an IPO, if Stability becomes a publicly traded company, then they have a fiduciary responsibility to constantly increase stakeholder value. And there is no way to increase stakeholder value if you're giving the product away for free for anybody who wants it. If you're going to say, yes, there is, I know what you're heading towards. You want to base the model off of Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them, these other modern absurdities that make no actual money and run their huge valuations off of what investors are willing to give them and, struggle to be profitable and things like that. And are you happy with how things turned out with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all of this shit? We hate all these fucking things. You want this to go the same way as that? To an example, for each and every example, we're all mystified by how they manipulate us and hurt us. They're not going to give you the open source thing is a way for them to get a huge install base that will then think that they hold the key to their creativity. You'll get addicted to the program. You'll be like, I can't do fucking anything with my fucking hands. I need their program. They'll pull it away and then they'll charge you for it. A for-profit company. You think a for-profit company has any incentive to give their product away for free? What? You don't think they have anything to gain by limiting access to their quality product so that they can charge for it? How long have you been around? How long have you been around? But haven't they released the code already so anyone can develop their own models? No. It costs them $600,000 to train the first version of Stable Diffusion. You have $600,000 to run 1,000 GPUs to train your model? What are you, crazy? Well, getting very hungry. All this anger spikes my hunger. Can I ask you what is art? Can I ask you what is art for you? Fun or work, and how many hours in the day? It's fun and work at this point. For me now, it's fun and work, which is great. How many hours in the day? These days I try to cut myself off at 4. You know, art is a marathon. You know, you got to be in it for the long haul. So for me, I'll also do less than 4, sure, but these days, once I hit 4, I want to leave that gas in the tank, and I'll just stop for the day. I've also got so much other stuff that I need to do. You know, I got to do feedback for my course, and I'm always answering correspondence and fielding questions from students and stuff like that. I make the YouTubes and stream. It's just like my days are full, you know. So yeah, these days I cut it off at 4. I can do a really good session of deep work in that time, and then it leaves gas in the tank so that it's easy for me to draw again the next day. I'm excited to come back to it. Are you hangry? Maybe you're just hungry. Yeah, I don't think eating a sandwich is going to suddenly make me sanguine about the whole AI art thing. Something tells me. Didn't they already say they want to do videos by next year? I mean, Meta just released the first previews of their video tool. Video tool's pretty good. Surprise. The baby steps are already pretty cool. It's gonna get crazy fast, people. Steven, have you ever tried sculpting? Yes, I have. Done a bit of sculpting in my life. A goodly bit. Sculpting's really fun too. It's just like, you know, you sit at your computer, you type in what you want the sculpt to be, and then it gives you the sculpt. It's like, so fun, dude. Fairly recently, you expressed a desire to return to oils. Is that still in the cards? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll have to be a slow burn thing just because I'm so busy, you know. I don't have the, you know, with everything that I do, I don't, it would be difficult for me to just like do a hot burn on oils only. But it's definitely still in the cards. It's just going to be a little slow for me to get over there. I have a panel propped up in my bedroom right now where I'm letting some tests for underpaintings dry, like black and white grisailles. And once they're completely dry, I indirectly painted some stuff over them using different mediums and things like that to test which ones were giving the best feelings that, or the feeling that I like best. But I'll tell you, I tried 3 and all 3 were unsatisfactory. So I need to do another round of tests. Need to try 3 other things. Felix Sambach says, love the feeling I get when I type in anime boobas, 8K high octane rendered sculpt. Well, I mean, love is such a, art is such a spiritual endeavor, you know? It's just like, whenever I type that stuff in, I'm like, wow, I know why I'm here on Earth, you know? Feels good. How do you imagine these forms and concepts? Is it something you could always do? No, not at all. I mean, it took a lot of concerted effort and thought. You get the course. Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals, but it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. Sorry, I needed to take that chance because I had to go to the bathroom super bad right when that person asked me the question. So I just had to go for a quick bathroom break. But it's just about lunchtime, only 10 minutes to lunchtime, and I'm trying to stay on schedule today, and we started real early today. We've already been streaming for 3.5 hours, and I've been screaming like crazy, and I'm getting hungry. So I'm gonna stay on for a couple more minutes. We're gonna wrap this here, but any last questions or anything like that, I'm here for you. Just gonna sit here and sip water for a moment. In general, let me say to all of you, thank you so much for being here and for your support and for listening. Go follow the Concept Art Association over on YouTube to stay abreast of developments in resisting the AIs. Send them Steven, tell them that Steven sent you when you go over there and comment on things. Maybe comment on that